Oh boy. Once again, it's time for the Fike Club. We're glad you found us. My name is Richie Fike, and I'm sitting next to a 13-year-old genius.
Hello.
His name is Justice Fike, and that genius moniker is only borderline sarcastic.
Sort of. I'm getting sarcastic, but...
Yeah. Man, we have had just a crazy 24 hours.
One might say wonderful.
Okay. One might say that. It was just a wild 24 hours. So I picked you up from school yesterday.
Yes.
And dropped some little knowledge on you that we had found tickets to the Avengers. Now, I went to buy tickets for the Avengers last Monday or Tuesday, and like every good showing was sold out until Saturday night. And so you really wanted to see it Friday night. So I go, hey man, guess what? I found tickets to the Avengers. Unbeknownst to you, there was a surprise. So I told you we had to drive all the way to Arlington to see the movie.
You never said that. You just said it's a long drive.
That's right. I don't think I said Arlington because I didn't want to tip you off. Because I think if I said Arlington, I think you might have figured out what was going on.
I probably would have. I'm a smart little child.
You're smart, my dude. So so unbeknownst to Justice, Dana had gotten some just really sweet, pun intended, tickets because it was in a suite for the 2018 NFL Draft. Now, just the day before, when you got off from school on Thursday, you said to me, the draft is in Dallas, Dad. Like, you would think, since you know I want to be a general manager, that you would take me to the draft. Like, why wouldn't you do that, Dad?
Okay, so I have two things to say.
Okay.
First, my voice does not sound anything like that.
I was giving you credit. I could have went up here with it, but I didn't.
Okay, and then second of all, I never said that. I said I did a sarcastic joke saying, man, I really hate your practice because we were like about 2-3 weeks ago, Daddy was talking about making, we could possibly go to the draft. But then he decided I have practice, so I couldn't.
Well, I didn't decide that I have practice. We have practice every Thursday night. Worship practice.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, so he almost spoiled the surprise on Thursday. And then this is, by the way, how I know that you are your mother's son, because you have this keen sense of how to spoil surprises. Do you know this?
I do.
It's amazing. Like, your mom hates surprises. Every Christmas, she tells me exactly what to get her, and I try to buy things for her that she won't know is coming, and that's just hit or miss. If you know Dana Fike and you have ever bought her a gift, there's a certain face she makes when you have bought her something that she doesn't like but doesn't want to hurt your feelings. And then if she really knows you, she'll just look at you and go, I don't want this, take it back. So
that's my mom.
Yeah.
Yep. So
she doesn't like surprises. And anyway, so we're driving to Arlington. We get off the exit off of I-30, and there's AT&T Stadium.
Yeah.
Right?
And I make a sarcastic joke saying, hey, why don't we put the movie on hold and let's just go sneak in real quick, go see who the Broncos are taking. With like a wink at the end.
Yeah, he goes, we could just skip the movie and go to the draft. And that's when I pulled out the tickets. And I go, way to go, my dude. He spoiled the surprise. I tried to play it off, but I was like, there's no playing this off.
You were like dead silent for like 2 minutes on that drive.
Did you have a sneaking suspicion at all?
Well, when you put the directions in, I saw AT&T Stadium.
You did?
Yeah, you should have probably done that like...
I was trying to do it on the sneak. Why are you all up in my mentions?
Well, we had the Greatest Royal Rumble going on, so that's why I was looking at your phone.
Yeah, okay, so...
That was set up for failure.
Yeah. Anyway, there's no surprising this child. It's really difficult to surprise the child. I think you were a little surprised.
I was, because I was not expecting it.
Okay.
But
so,
it was nowhere near your best.
So you mentioned something. Meanwhile, WWE put on this weird house show pay-per-view, and I know I've gotten some comments and some text messages. Lay off the WWE. We're not really all that fired up about the WWE. Listen, if you're going to be in the Fight Club with us, you're going to know we love wrestling, and so we're going to talk about it. Anyway, so this is the part that maybe some parents and even some of my friends might think is weird, but I put it up on basically on the dashboard. I have a little dashboard mount, and on the drive to the draft, we watched the first half of the pay-per-view, which was really, it's not much to talk about.
There's not.
It's kind of a useless pay-per-view, but we did play the game where I pick a person, then you pick a person, that whole bit. And would you like to share with the people who won the game?
My dad.
That's it. Yeah.
I won WrestleMania, and I didn't make my son brag about that.
Whoa! You did not win WrestleMania.
I did.
No. We tied at WrestleMania because I picked Brock Lesnar.
No, you picked Roman Reigns.
No.
You picked Roman Reigns because no. I remember this conversation. You picked Roman Reigns, and I was like, "Oh, well, I lost," and then I won because Brock Lesnar. And I ran around the house like, I beat my dad.
You have a revisionist sense of history, but
that's because I'm correct.
Okay. Duly noted. Fine. That's fine. You won WrestleMania, and I won the Greatest Royal Rumble.
Yep.
It was called the Greatest Royal Rumble. Anyway, it was stupid. So we go to the draft. We have these tickets in a suite, which basically is like 3 levels up. And you're sitting on like recliner chairs. It was super rad. Free food, free drinks. I did not partake. And we watched the second and third rounds. Which were fantastic. And we watched the demise and redemption of Darius Geis.
Yes.
Which was crazy.
Pretty much the demise of LSU. That was like, I was listening to something, and it said that's the lowest LSU player taken since 2010.
Well, I wonder. We've had a first-round draft pick in every draft for quite some time now.
Yeah, this was the first year since 2010.
Amazing. But then we had 4 in the second round.
Yeah.
And then what, 2 or 3 more?
2 or 3 more on the second or third day, sorry.
Yeah. And you, in the suite, got into several conversations with different fan bases.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep. It was
First
very
thing,
weird.
By the way, so I put Justice's Peyton Manning Super Bowl 50 jersey in the back of the truck, and then when we showed up at the draft, I let him wear it into the draft, which was, you weren't alone. There were quite a few Bronco fans there.
Yeah, there was a lot because the stat shows most people in this state would either be Broncos fans or Cowboys fans.
Okay, what stat is this that you're talking about with such great confidence?
The majority of people. There was a survey going around last year.
Okay, you have to bring facts. You can't just bring these superlatives to the conversation.
What does a superlative mean?
Look it up. This is maybe I'll win the Stroup Award again this week. All right, so then we got home from the draft. There was a huge wreck on I-30, so we sat on I-30 and watched the greatest Royal Rumble forever. Then turns out, I think a police officer died, so R.I.P. and thank you for your service. But it was kind of a crazy deal. And so then we finally get home, and then this morning I had a tennis match early, 9 a.m. Victory was mine. We had worship auditions, which was awesome. We had 6 people audition. They all did really well. And then we went and saw what was the movie of the week.
And probably the best movie of the year so far.
Really? Spoiling it already?
I'm not spoiling. I'm saying so far it's been
right, but
a great movie.
You're supposed to wait till the end to give your grade. And you're already telling them how awesome it was.
Sorry.
Anyway, the movie of the week.
The movie of the week.
Movies, see the movies. Old stuff and the newbies. Movies, see the movies. Fight Club at the movies. Movies, see the movies.
What a movie it was. What a movie it was. The Avengers Infinity War, starring 734 different
Different actors.
superheroes and random aliens and animals.
We can't name all of them, but good job.
So listen, we're going to talk about the movie generically. There are major spoilers in this movie. Major spoilers. So if you haven't seen Avengers Infinity War, I promise you we're not going to spoil anything right now. We're going to just talk about kind of the theme, overarching ideas of the movie, what we saw in it that we liked and we didn't like, little things like that, maybe favorite jokes and things like that. If you don't want to hear any of that, I was telling Justice on the way to the movie, like, I've become the kind of person that, like, once I see a trailer that I like and I go, okay, well, I want to see that movie. Once I see that trailer, I don't want to hear anything else about that movie until it comes out. And so that's kind of how I am. So if you're that way, I get it. In the notes on the podcast at the bottom, we're going to put the moment where it's safe to kind of fast forward through and then maybe go watch the movie and come back and listen to what we thought about it. But Justice, man, what were your like big picture thoughts on the movie? What did you like about it? What surprised you about the movie?
Well, what surprised me was how funny it was.
Yeah.
Like, it was really funny for a movie I thought was going to be, like, super serious, super action. And it felt really lighthearted, and it felt really Marvel-ish, which is great.
You know what I was thinking about how funny it was? Even in the Deadpool trailer, the funniest line in that Deadpool trailer is when Deadpool looks at the guy that plays...
He looks at the screen.
Well, he looks at the bad guy, and he goes, man, that was dark. Are you sure you're not from the DC universe?
That's why I love Deadpool, but I'm not allowed to see movies.
The whole time during that preview, Justice, I couldn't even enjoy the preview because Justice was like, Dad, please let me see that movie. I want to see that movie. Please let me. Can I see that movie? Hey, Dad, can I see that movie? I was like, boy, if you don't shut up and let me watch this trailer. Crazy. Anyway, yeah, it was funny. And everybody really is funny in the movie. I guess Vision's not funny and the
Vision
Red Witch
was
or
just
whatever.
like,
Is she the Red Witch? What is she?
Scarlet Witch.
Yeah, the Scarlet Witch. They would have burned her back in the day.
They would have.
Yeah, the Red Witch isn't funny, but like Hulk's funny, Thor's funny, all the Guardians are funny.
Yeah, I
Iron
felt like
Man's
they didn't
funny,
use the Guardians
Spider-Man's
right.
funny. They're all funny.
Yeah, they didn't give Spider-Man a lot of time.
Yeah, so you got to be careful about giving spoilers away here, okay? Just I want you to be super careful for the listeners.
I know, I just said he didn't. Now you're giving spoilers.
I'm
huh?
not giving you any spoilers.
Huh?
I'm trying to warn you. We're new to this podcast thing, and there are people listening that want to hear our thoughts on the movie without us telling them what happened in the movie. That's hard to do, isn't it?
It is.
We talked about this on the way home, like, oh my gosh, it's going to be really hard to talk about this movie without talking about this movie.
I know. I don't know how great podcasts such as Mad About Movies do this for like 30 minutes without talking about the plot.
Yeah, they must go in and like they're literally taking notes the whole time, or then maybe they go see the movie twice, or I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know how they do it.
Okay, what did you? So I have like 3 or 4 questions that I'm gonna ask every week, and one of them is this: what did you expect going into this movie? What were your expectations for what would happen in this movie?
Well, as I said, a more serious Marvel film than what we usually get, and also a more action-packed film with all the, like, 30 superheroes or something.
Yeah, so you thought it was going to be almost DC-ish.
No, I didn't think DC. I thought it was going to have that Marvel tint, but, like, more serious sort of tint.
Well, DC is serious.
No, I mean, like, laugh, but, like, instead of a laugh every, like, 5 minutes, more like 30.
Yeah. Dude, okay. Well, it was like nonstop laughter.
It was nonstop laughing.
Yeah.
Great movie.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. What would you say was the major theme or message of the movie?
Thanos is a bad guy.
Was he though? So it was a really fascinating deal. This is to me.
Don't go spoiling it.
I'm not going to spoil it, but this is the second Marvel movie in a row. Black Panther was the first one, where the bad guy. I heard someone say this one time, and I think it's amazing. It's an amazing idea. The best bad guys in the history of bad guys, the best villains, in their mind, they're not a villain.
Yeah, he didn't, like, he thought he was a good guy.
Yeah, like, so think back to, this isn't, I mean, if you haven't seen Black Panther yet, you're the only one. But think
Eric
back
Killmonger.
to Michael B. Jordan, Killmonger, right?
Yeah. Great villain.
What was he fighting for? He
was fighting for all the black people suffering around the world.
Well, yes, that's right. All the poor people, not just black, but poor people all across the world. And he had a rightful claim to the kingdom of Wakanda.
He did.
He had a rightful claim, so he's not a bad guy for having a rightful claim. And he was like, y'all got all this technology and you're not sharing it with the world. What is your issue? And at the end of the movie, again, spoiler alert if you haven't seen Black Panther, but at the end of the movie, the Black Panther decides, you know what? He was right. I'm going to go and I'm going to invest this technology across the world. And so, like, and again, so anyway, to all that to say, in this movie, Thanos' ultimate, and I don't think this is a spoiler, but Thanos' ultimate desire is to shrink the universe by half.
And if you haven't seen that, just understand.
By half of its population. Now, Justice, why did he want to do that?
Because when he was growing up on his planet, there was too many people. And he was like poor, didn't have the food. So he came up with the idea, let's genocide half our people, which is, don't do that.
Yeah, we don't suggest it. We don't suggest genocide. That's not.
We don't suggest genocide.
The Fight Club does not endorse genocide. Okay, that is our official stance on this, right?
No crime.
But his attitude was, even though we have to sacrifice, he kept using the word mercy. We're going to show mercy to all the people by shrinking all the people in half so that the limited resources that we have become now plentiful because there's less people that have to share it.
Yeah, but that's a terrible idea because in like 5,000 years, now you're going to have that same problem. Oh, time to snappity snap.
Snappity snap. Right, I'm not telling you that I agree with his thoughts. What I'm telling you is Thanos does not think that he's a bad person.
No, what I mean is, like, seeing the movie, the general plot is Thanos is a bad guy and he does bad things.
Well, he wants to kill half the people.
Yeah, that's
Good.
a bad thing.
Good guys don't do that.
True.
Right? I'll tell you this. So, I expected the movie to be long, kind of boring, kind of slow, kind of too serious, kind of to use your word. I genuinely expected it to be overhyped. I thought that it wasn't going to really be that great, honestly. But dude, you guys, I'm telling you, this was, in my opinion, number 1 or number 2 best Marvel movie that they've ever made.
The only other one that can compare is the original Avengers.
I don't know. I don't know if I went back to that one, I think I'd be bored with that one.
Either that or Winter Soldier.
My very favorite Marvel movie is Thor Ragnarok. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
I've never had more fun in a superhero movie than that movie.
Yeah.
So, like, and this one was neck and neck, dude. We were laughing out loud. We probably missed at least a third of the movie.
Just from laughing.
Just because the people in the room were laughing so hard. Like, they were laughing hard in our theater. It was full. There wasn't an empty seat in our theater, which I like that. Don't you like that?
Yeah, it's great. And it felt like a community.
Yeah.
So.
It's weird how watching a movie in a full theater makes the experience so much better and different.
Yeah, like when you see a movie in a dead theater with like 4 or 5 people, it's just boring.
And then you laugh out loud and you're the only one.
And you're
then
like, oh.
I'm a nerd.
There was like 2 times where I was just laughing. I was like, oh, nobody's laughing with me. Oh.
You laughed hard. Oh my gosh, you laughed hard. You laughed so hard at Groot.
I did.
You laughed so hard at Groot.
Because I'm relatable. We're both teens that just spend our whole lives on platforms.
Yeah, a little bit emotional, a little bit self-involved, right? A little bit caught up. Okay, so we're going to hit spoiler alerts now because there's really no way for us to talk about this movie without us spoiling it for you. So, spoiler alerts are coming.
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert!
Okay, spoiler alert. There it is. Now we can talk freely about the movie. Okay. Oh my soul. So many people died in this movie.
I was crying.
You were crying. Okay, so let's get to it. Let's get to the plot. So Thanos decides that he's going to wipe out half the universe, and all he has to do is
Collect the 6 Infinity Stones.
collect the Infinity Stones.
And already at the bat, he has the Power Stone. And then within like the first 10 minutes, he already has 2 stones.
Yeah, I can't keep up with all the stones he had. I'm sorry.
It was 6.
Yeah, but I don't know their names.
First, he had the power. Then he had this whatever stone was in the mind thingy bob that he had.
Yeah, that's the technical way to say that in case you're curious. Anyway, I'm just saying I can't keep up with that. But anyway, so he gets all the stones. There's this moment where the Scarlet Witch gets the last stone out of Vision's head
and destroys it.
But one of the stones that Thanos had already collected was the Time Stone.
Yeah.
And so all he had to do was reverse time. We just talked about Back to the Future.
Yep.
He just basically did. He went Michael J. Fox.
He's going back in time.
Right. He goes back, and then he takes the stone. And right as he takes the stone and puts it in his left hand in the glove, boom! Here comes Thor with his new
like axe thingy.
His Groot hammer.
And he throws it at his chest, and like Thanos is dying. And spoiler. And
You already said spoiler.
I know, but I just feel bad. And he says you should have aimed for the head, and then snaps.
He snaps, and when he snaps,
it was the most powerful snap.
Did you know what it meant when he snapped? Did you?
Yeah, because they mentioned it, and I've heard like from the comics, the snap means half the people in the world die.
Yeah, and so half the people in the world die in that moment.
They didn't die; they just faded to dust.
Well, where did they go? I mean, they're not alive. They're somewhere.
There's speculation they're in the Soul Stone.
Yeah, I don't know about the Soul Stone. So one of the questions... So then, man, a lot of our heroes just start dropping like flies, dude. They're gone. It was like one after the other. They just... Like, I remember before we went into this movie, someone said, who do you think's going to die in the Avengers? And I was like, why do people have to die? It's a comic book movie. And it was like, because that's what's going to happen. People are going to die. People, who, like, how many? Just watch it. And so, and I speculated that it would be Captain America. But Captain America lived. However, Black Panther.
Spider-Man.
Oh, no. Spider-Man died. A lot of people died, but nobody more meaningful to justice
than
Spider-Man. When Spider-Man died,
I was bawling.
People were crying, and when he disappeared, some lady like 2 rows up from us said,
"No, Spider-Man!"
Yeah, some lady, full-grown woman, said, "No, not Spider-Man!" And I didn't hear this. I mean, it just to hear Justice tell it anyway. So, Spooderman died. A bunch of other people died. Okay, so then the credits roll. And I look over at Justice. This is by the way, is really the end of our Avengers critique because it was an amazing movie.
Amazing movie. I'll give it a 9.5 out of 10.
9.5 out of 10. I would give it a 10 out of 10, especially because of the cliffhanger.
The ending made it drop 0.5.
Why? Because you don't like a cliffhanger?
I'm not a big fan of a cliffhanger.
Why?
Because I want to know now. What happened? What happened to Spooderman?
See, that that is so, like, you're not a millennial. You're the next group. You're the Generation Z. That is such a Generation Z thought because you've never in your life, in your whole life, never once wondered what the answer to a question was. You've never had to.
I don't have to. I have Google.
Right. You have all the answers to all the questions. All you have to do is understand them. Right? And they're at your fingertips. But Marvel has created something for you where you don't get to know the answers yet.
It's annoying.
You don't like that. It's
don't.
It's kind of fascinating.
I was so mad. I even had to brutalize my dad.
Okay. We're going to get to that moment. But I just want to ask you, so obviously Spider-Man's the worst death or the hardest to, like, it was hard to see, but what about Peter Quill?
Yeah.
I mean, the Guardians.
Pretty much all the Guardians died.
Drax?
Everyone died other than Rocket, and I'm glad Rocket lived because
Rocket lived. Groot died. That's right, the only Guardian left because what's her name? The green girl?
Gamora died because Thanos decided I'm going to throw you out.
Thanos killed.
Also, Red Skull came back.
Yeah, that's random. So there's good news. Red Skull's alive.
Red Skull's alive.
Red Skull. Okay, so other than Spider-Man, who was the hardest one to see go?
Definitely my boy from Wakanda, T'Challa.
Yeah, we both threw up our chest X's whenever Wakanda showed up on the screen.
At school, there's this one. So there's like some 8th graders. They have like this crazy like handshake, and at the end it's this, and then they bow.
Yeah, no one can see you.
Okay, they do the
This is episode 4 now of the podcast.
The Wakanda sign, and then they bow.
Yes. Okay. This is a question that I think we should ask each week, and I thought about it especially at the end of the movie. Let's just as we're watching these movies together, I want us to try to think spiritually just for a brief moment, if we could. Okay.
Okay.
So, what element of the Avengers Infinity War movie reminded you of a biblical story? Was there anything in the movie that made you think of the Bible in any way?
Really, no, because I was more focusing on the filming more than...
Right, but think about it now. Think about like the actual story that happened. Because here's something I want to teach you. I'm really angling for this Stroup Award this week. But here's something I want to teach you. There's really only one story. And every other story that we hear, whether it be Back to the Future or the Avengers or whatever, every story we hear is derivative. That's a big word. You know what derivative means?
From.
Right, derived from. It's every other story that we hear is derivative of the one main story, and that is the story of God redeeming humanity through Jesus. So, let me ask you a question. Were there any moments in the movie where you saw someone sacrificing themselves for the greater good of others?
Could you please go first so I understand more?
That's such a sneaky trick. How about when Vision is looking at the Scarlet Witch in the eyes?
I have a good one, but it's about Thanos. Thanos thinks he's Jesus.
No, Thanos doesn't think he's Jesus. He thinks he's God.
Okay.
But Jesus is God, so you're probably right. No, how about when Vision looks at the Scarlet Witch and says, "I'm sorry this is happening to you, but you're going to have to kill me."
Yeah, sure.
He sacrifices himself. In his mind, he's going to die so that humanity can live. Who else did that?
Jesus.
Right. Now, check this out. When Jesus returns to the earth, have you ever heard of something called the rapture?
Yeah, it's when he returns for 1,000 good years.
But what happens to all the Christians when Jesus comes back?
They're gone.
Oh. And what happened at the end of Avengers?
They own.
How about that scene where, in the bonus scene, which I thought was super smart, that bonus scene, where that truck comes out of nowhere and spins out, and they go up to look inside the truck, and what was inside the truck?
Nothing.
Why?
Because he evaporated.
Because they had gone up to see Jesus.
They went to see Jesus.
Right? So that was kind of a little like allusion to the idea of the rapture. Half of humanity gone in a snap. More than half of humanity will be gone when Jesus comes back.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, there's only one story, and you're always gonna see little pieces of that story in every movie that we watch together.
I like this.
Yeah.
Except, I think you should answer that question every week because you're more biblical at this moment than me.
That's
'Cause
fine.
I'm still learning.
I just want you to start learning to think this way and think this and watch the movies through that lens.
I like this idea.
Okay. All right. So go see the Avengers. I give it a 10. I literally give it a 10 out of 10.
I give it a 9.5 because
Okay.
Spider-Man died.
Now, when Spider-Man died, something crazy happened, and I think it leads us to the Stroup Award of the week. Are you ready to give it?
Sure.
All right, let's go. Stroup, baby, Stroup.
Stroop, baby, stroop, baby, stroop. Sister, what is coming? Stroop, baby, stroop. Sister, stroop. Sister, what is coming? Stroop, baby, stroop. Sister, stroop. Sister, what is coming? Stroop, baby, stroop. Baby, stroop. Sister, what is coming? Stroop.
All right, Justice. Who this week gets the Stroup Award?
This week, the Miss Stripper Award winner goes to the wonderful but terrible people at Marvel Studios.
Okay. And why? What is causing them to get this award?
Well, the reason why is because they have given me the pleasure of seeing this movie, but also teaching me the lesson of how to deal with a lost one. And this lost one, of course, is my Spooderman.
Spider-Man.
Spooderman is always been my favorite superhero,
That's true.
and I've loved him. I've seen every movie, including the Amazing Spooderman movies, which, I don't know. And they talk.
Are we going to just keep saying Spooderman? Is that what's happening?
Yeah, it's Spooderman now.
We're never going to say Spider-Man?
Spooderman.
Okay.
Okay.
That's going to
and-
be hard when we get to the safe word idea that we talked about just moments ago.
Okay, Spooderman. So
Okay.
just let me live my moment,
I'm
okay?
going to let you cook, my dude. Go ahead.
Hashtag let's just cook. All right, and so I was super emotional, super mad, and I was like, I don't know how to feel about this.
Can we just, for a brief moment, guys, when you hear the term super emotional, I'm not sure what comes into your mind, but if you could think of the most ravenous, crazy person on like Maury Povich at 2 p.m, combined with the worst PMS you've ever experienced on the earth, that gets close to the rage monster that is Justice Fike at his worst.
Yeah. So I was super from inside out. I had anger in me.
Anger took the wheel.
Anger took the wheel.
Jesus took a break and anger took the wheel.
Anger just went on a rampage.
Anger took the wheel.
Okay,
I don't
and
think that would be a chart topper, but
yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. And so I was super mad, super like not happy, and my dad trying to cheer me up says, "Well, they'll probably just redo it all in Infinity War." And me being the rage monster, not wanting to hear anything at this time because I'm emotional and I'm a 13-year-old. emotional 13-year-old does not equal the same good things. And I just am so upset, and I just slap him on the tricep.
Okay. Slap isn't it's close to what happened. Justice punched me.
I didn't punch, I slapped.
He punched me as hard as he possibly could.
Not consciously, though. I love you, and I didn't mean to do it.
I love you too, and I'm going to get you back eventually.
Hey, Jesus says when someone...
Don't bring Jesus into this. Don't bring Jesus into this.
Hey, he says when someone slaps you on the cheek, turn your cheek. So
You
they
didn't
can
hit
slap
me
you
on the
again.
cheek.
Hey,
You punched me squarely in the chest.
The Bible says... I said tricep.
Tricep. Guys, it is dead quiet in the theaters. This is what I want you to understand. It's dead quiet in the theaters. They're rolling the end credits. Justice is sitting next to me on my left, crying because Spider-Man's dead.
You mean Spooderman.
Spooderman. And he's crying. And I look over to him and go, dude, they're probably going to bring him back for the next movie. Don't worry about it. It's a movie. And Justice punched me as hard as he possibly could.
I didn't punch you. I went like boom.
Okay. You don't know what you did because you were Rage Monster right there in
Okay.
that moment. Okay. And so then I was like, what just happened? So then I wait a few minutes and then I make an Ant-Man joke to try to lighten the mood. And Justice, y'all, loud. What did you say in the middle of the room?
I said, shut up, but I didn't yell it. I
Okay.
said, shut up.
Yeah, that's right. It was louder than that, but that's how you... And I was like... I told Justice in the car later, I said, I've never had like a worst enemy, but if I had a worst enemy, I don't think my worst enemy would talk to me with the contempt that you spoke with me in that one moment. After 24 hours of fatherhood bliss, where I've taken you... to the greatest experiences of your life. I've taken great care, and loved you well. You hauled off and punched me in the middle of the movie theater and then told me in front of everybody else, shut up! You shut up! What on earth got into you, my dude?
Well, if you know me, you know I'm not the best at controlling my inner self. And when I am sad, angry, or mad, I will commonly not know how to calm myself down.
Yes. So we have decided from now on, and if you know Justice, do other people have permission to use the word?
What word?
The safe word.
Sure.
Okay, so if you know Justice and you get into some kind of altercation with him, which you won't, because most times, 99% of the time, he's the greatest, sweetest, most wonderful, gentle person on the earth. But if you kill Spider-Man, something's coming out in him. Okay, so
Don't kill Spidey.
don't do it. So so Justice has decided that he will use the word. Oh, that's right. People don't use it on you. You use it, right?
I use it, or if you're mad at me, you can just yell Spooderman.
Right. And Spooderman does not buy you 24 hours of alone time. It gets you 30 seconds where you can calm yourself down to where you can articulate your emotions.
Might be like 2 minutes because I still need to work on it.
Because you get in your feelings. I believe one day you're going to write an incredible emo album. I do. I do. I do. I think you're gonna write.
You know what?
You're gonna write a Grammy award-winning emo album.
Yes.
And people are gonna be like, dude, he plunged the depths of his emotions.
I didn't even know emo albums
Look
existed.
it up, dude. It's your future. I'm almost certain of it.
No.
You're gonna be the only GM in the history of GMs to win a Grammy for an emo album.
Just like on my resume, I won a emo album award.
Oh, okay. So the award went to Marvel Comics for teaching you a little more about your rage.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. So, man, I just want you to know I forgive you.
I'm sorry.
Well, you don't get to forgive me. I didn't.
I almost said I forgive you,
It's
but
not reciprocity here.
I'm very sorry. And on our way back, I said I was sorry. And then you said I'm going to get you back. And I'm like, that's so ungodly.
Wow.
Don't you think, Fight Clovers? That's so ungodly.
You dirty dog. You gonna use the Fike Clovers against me.
Yeah.
Ooh, you dirty. I told him, maybe it won't be today. Maybe it won't be tomorrow, but soon, and very soon, you will feel my wrath. All right. Well, it's time to get to what is my favorite bumper of the week.
Boss move.
Boss moves.
Boss moves. We be making boss moves. We be making boss moves. We be making boss moves. Boss moves.
All right. I'm gonna go first.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine with me.
So one of the boss moves that, let's see, Geis was the 20. What was he? The 51st pick.
57th.
Okay. 56 people made unboss moves.
No.
They made non-boss moves.
From 20 up. So like from 1 through 20, it was smart. But as soon as the Lions picked someone not named Darius Geis, it was not smart.
Right. And I'm going to tell you who's about to make a boss move. Your 2018 Rookie of the Year is my G, my dude, Mr. Darius Geis.
And Josh Rosen.
No, you can't have two Rookies of the Year.
Oh, never mind. They're not in the same conference.
I do like, I love that pick. I love Josh Rosen. And I love what Josh Rosen said about how 9 teams made a mistake. That was awesome.
But he corrected himself and said there was only 3 mistakes ahead of him. The 3 quarterbacks took him before him.
Taken. All right, so that's my boss move. I love Darius Geis, and I think he's going to tear it up in the NFL. You go get him, Gucci. Gucci!
So, first of all, congratulations to everyone drafted. Just a round of applause real quick. Golf claps. Welcome to the NFL. And, but for me, the boss move of the week was the Denver Broncos.
Wow, they got an A+ grade.
Ending with Bradley Chubb.
Wow.
Cortland Sutton, who was
he?
suggested to be like the top wide receiver other than Calvin Ridley. Then you got Royce Freeman, who is a great halfback out of Oregon.
Wow.
Then you get another wide receiver from Penn State, who's going to be a great option. He's a great route runner. Then you get a linebacker from Iowa, who didn't let up a single touchdown all of last season.
Whoa.
And then you get a tight end from Wisconsin, and then there's a couple more picks in there.
They had 10 picks.
They had 10 picks, and they made the best of every single one of them.
All those guys aren't going to make the team, right?
Oh, all of them do.
No, those 10, not all 10 of those dudes are going to be on the NFL roster next year.
Yeah, all of them are very talented.
They'll be some of them will be on the PUP list, and some of them will be cut.
No, none of them will be cut.
Okay.
It's a rookie.
Here's our first Fike Club bet that we are going to make on the air. Are you ready?
Okay.
I bet you that at least 3 of those 10 guys won't be on the roster day 1 of the NFL season. I'm not talking about preseason. I'm talking about day 1 of the NFL season. They will not repeat 3 of those guys. I don't know which 3. I don't care which 3. Only 7 of those 10 will be on the roster. And that is moderate.
I just want you to know, all 8 of last year's Denver picks were on the team the full year, including Mr. Irrelevant Chad Swag Kelly.
Okay. So you're ready to bet me that they will be on all 10 of those guys are going to be on the roster.
Not all 10.
That's what I said.
You said 3, at least 3 of them will not make it.
At least 3 won't.
So my thing is less than 3 of them have to make it. Or like More
with
than
you.
more than 8 have to make
You
it.
need 8 or more
Yeah,
to win the bet.
I'm fine
Day
with that.
1. Okay, we're shaking hands. What's the stakes for this bet?
What do you want to put? 4 or 5
4 or 5 what?
dollars?
You don't have $5.
I have 130. I don't know what you're talking about.
Whoa! Don't put your business in the street. I taught you better than that. All right, we don't have time this week for the question game because, man, we talked forever and ever. But Justice, just real quick, tell the people how the dance went. Was everything good at the dance?
Everything went fantastic because it was just normal.
It was a normal dance?
And there was never a line, which surprised me.
Let me ask you, you predicted, who was the girl that you predicted was going to break the line?
Molly, but there was no line in the beginning, so
People just dance with each other?
yeah.
Did they Back to the Future dance?
It wasn't like that dance, but it was, like dance
Okay.
off.
Once again,
So-
no one can. I wish people that you could see what this man was doing just now, because it was some hot moves. Hey, we'll see you next week. Remember, the only rule about the Fight Club is
To always talk about the Fight Club.
that's right. Tell everybody you know about it. We got more and more listeners every day. We're excited about it. We're moving up the ranks, and it's all because of you. Tell people you know about it. Hey, send us your questions. We have gotten your emails. We are putting together a mailbag email section somewhere in the middle of May. We'll do that. But we need your questions. We need to know what it is that you want to talk about, and we want to hear from you. So, with that said, at the Fike Club on Twitter, at the Fike Club Instagram, there is a Fike Club Facebook page. Get on there. There's tons of ways to find out what's going on with us, and we want to hear from you. So we love you. We'll talk to you next time. Peace.